This is 9 News Local.
Good evening, I'm Natasha Soper. 3 new cases of COVID-19 in Batemans Bay has seen the forced closure of 2 local schools. Staff and students from a high school and primary school are in isolation, with all learning now from home.
They thought they'd escaped the deadly virus.
We thought that we'd all done the right thing and that we'd got a lid on it.
3 weeks after the Soldiers Club cluster, it's returned to the small town and it hasn't held back.
And now this. I'm speechless about this whole thing. Where this is going to stop.
2 students, the latest in New South Wales to test positive to COVID-19, with another unidentified.
Concerned, yeah, as long as they find the source. Yep.
What's the feeling here in town?
Everyone's a little bit upset, I think.
Batemans Bay High School and public school are shut down. Staff and students in isolation. Cleaners rose early, suiting up to blast the buildings, giving both schools a thorough clean before they reopen. A statement was issued last night breaking the news to parents that students will be learning from home today.
From what we've been hearing, students and young people are sort of less susceptible, but that obviously is not the case, and this has shown us that.
Contact tracing is underway for all 3 cases. The source of each one still remains a mystery, leaving many in Batemans Bay fearing an outbreak is on its way.
Very frustrating. It's just, as say, having granddaughters and daughters over in Tassie that we can't see, can't do anything with. And then you get these peanuts saying that it's all a scam.
What can we do? We didn't expect it, actually.
Let's go straight to Caitlin Tukakino in Huskisson. Caitlin, 2 new cases have popped up on the south coast.
That's right, those 2 new cases are linked to the restaurant here behind me. We know that those 2 cases are Sydney-siders who travelled down for a holiday last week and dined at the restaurant on Saturday night. It's unknown whether they knew they had the virus or not, but what we do know is that they tested positive and those test results came back just yesterday. It's understandably frustrating for the owners. They've been forced to shut their doors for 2 weeks while staff are in quarantine. Health authorities are reminding everyone that if they're showing symptoms, they need to stay home and get tested.
Thank you, Caitlin. An investigation is underway in the Riverina after a car with the bodies of 2 men in their 50s were pulled from a canal near Griffith. Police were alerted to the submerged vehicle on its roof last night, officers making the grim discovery a short time later. At this stage, investigators believe the car lost control, crashing and killing the pair inside. The vehicle was rescued with the help of SES this morning. It appears the tourism operators at the Jenolan Caves just can't catch a break, with a series of landslides blocking the main tourist road. Motorists are being urged to plan ahead as crews continue to clear large boulders away.
They say bad things happen in threes. And that's exactly the case for motorists travelling to the Jenolan Caves today. Large boulders, dirt and tree branches blocking Jenolan Caves Road following an early morning landslide. The main tourist route from Sydney blocked near the village of Hampton.
Now, some of these boulders can be up to 4 metres in width, so we're not talking about small rocks, they are large boulders.
It's expected the busy stretch will be cut off for 3 days from Duckmalloy and Hampton roads as civil engineers make a slope risk assessment. Today, Transport for New South Wales joined contractors as they undertook machine scaling with an excavator.
They're having a look at the damage, they're assessing the rocks that need to be removed, and even overnight we saw more rocks that fell onto the road and an additional 2 landslides.
Hampton is the gateway to the Jenolan Caves, being the main route for Sydney-siders. But with the road to the tourist attraction now closed, the number of visitors coming here has dropped dramatically. In January, the Greenwattle Creek bushfire tore through, destroying roads. And in February, heavy rainfall and debris smashed roads, leading to the Caves House. Naomi Avery, 9 News.
A clean-up effort is underway in the Shoalhaven and South Coast after floodwater subsided overnight. The SES and local councils spent the day clearing debris from roads. Earlier this afternoon, evacuated residents were given the green light to return to their properties. Meanwhile, energy providers are still working to restore power to nearly 200 homes in the Southern Highlands. More rain is expected across the region later in the week. Residents in Yass, Bowning and Binalong are being told to boil tap water. Recent heavy rainfall and flooding has impacted the Yass Valley's water treatment. Only bottled water or cooled boiled water is recommended for drinking or food preparation. The Yass Valley Council is working to fix the problem. Stopping a light rail vehicle has been compared to trying to halt a rhinoceros. Authorities, frustrated by people not heeding rail safety warnings, today gave a demonstration of what happens when things go wrong.
A body pinned under a light rail vehicle in Gungahlin. Emergency services rush in. Injured passengers left in shock.
The tram suddenly stopped and I tried to stop myself and I hurt my wrist. I can't move it.
It stopped. Everyone was panicking.
Paramedics try to stabilise their patient while firefighters use pressurised air to lift the 40-tonne vehicle. The casualty is dragged free. Fortunately, it's just a training exercise aimed at showing how emergency services respond. While the casualty is only a dummy, the responders are treating it like a real patient, with realism in training crucial when it comes to an actual emergency.
We want to raise awareness for everyone in the city how to deal with light rail.
With dozens of near misses since light rail rolled out and a number of collisions, survivors of rail accidents urge caution, particularly for children.
Often they don't understand what impact and what consequences our actions can have.
Now a Paralympian, Vanessa Lowe lost both legs after stumbling in front of a train as a teenager.
Everyone can be affected and it has a very big impact on our lives.
If there is a light rail around, don't cross the tracks, don't walk on a red light, don't cross the tracks with a car.
Simple steps to avoid today's drama becoming reality. Harry Frost, 9 News.
Stay with us. Still ahead, the son of former Wollongong Hawks coach Rob Beveridge fronts court accused of grooming underage girls. A new high-rise in Wagga given the green light despite outrage from locals. A new hope for a local woman with a rare heart condition. That exclusive story next. The son of former Wollongong Hawks coach Rob Beveridge faced Wollongong court for the first time today. Jaden Beveridge pleading not guilty to grooming underage girls. The 21-year-old is accused of sending salacious messages to a number of teenage girls he was coaching while at the Illawarra Basketball Association from 2017. Beveridge is also accused of buying alcohol for a 15-year-old girl in January. He remains on bail and will reappear before a magistrate in October. Liberal ACT election candidate Peter Mackay has resigned after it was revealed he made submissions to a federal inquiry claiming homosexual influence on ACT policing had led to religious terrorism. He also condemned Indigenous welcome to country ceremonies as an animistic practice.
I think it's a sad reflection of the values of the Canberra Liberals. This is now mainstream opinion within that political party.
Opposition leader Alastair Coe said the candidate's views didn't meet the party's standards. The Snowy Valley was first paralysed by drought, then fire and floods. But the community is now getting back on its feet thanks to large-scale infrastructure projects that are helping rejuvenate small towns.
6 months on from the devastating fires that ripped through regional New South Wales.
We were very, very severely impacted by the fires.
One of the townships crippled by the flames is rising from the ashes.
In order to attract people to our communities, we need really good infrastructure.
Tumut, located 100 kilometres east of Wagga in the Snowy Valley, is the site of a new $50 million hospital development.
We live in an uncertain time. The COVID is certainly creating a lot of anxiety for people. The health system is an important part of how we manage that, and having modern facilities is a critical element of that.
Hope flowing through the town as Stage 2 begins on a hospital that's been 20 years in the making.
The community's been looking for this for a long time, and it really will help us build confidence in our community.
As the concrete hardens, so too does Tumut's resolve, the major development running smoothly.
So having state-of-the-art infrastructure and health to support their well-being into the future is really important for rural communities.
Outdated facilities means residents are the first to suffer, but with new money being poured into hospitals across the state, it's attracting essential staff to regional areas.
If you want health professionals nowadays, they expect modern facilities, and I think this will be a great attraction.
The construction that's going on here today it builds confidence in our community, and that's what we've got to continue to do.
Bill Ormond, 9 News.
Almost $500 million will be spent on expanding the Canberra Hospital, creating 500 local jobs. Multiplex will be in charge of the build, the same team who worked on the Westmead Hospital expansion earlier this year. There will be 22 new operating theatres and 148 new beds. Charles Sturt University will soon become home to some of Australia's future doctors in a bid to bolster the rural health workforce. Applications have now opened for its new medicine program with 37 spots available. The first cohort is expected to begin studies this February at the Orange campus. The university says it intends for all classes to be conducted face-to-face, with all placements to be undertaken at regional hospitals. A new multi-million-dollar high-rise development in Wagga has taken another step forward. While it's received support from council and the business community, nearby residents say it's bringing the worst of the city to the country.
A development the likes of which has never been seen in Wagga. 180 apartments, 13 three-storey townhouses and office space for up to 1,000 workers. High-density development, part of Wagga's transformation to a regional capital.
It's a major step and a major change in direction really for a city of this size.
Wagga City Council last night approved changes to the building height controls on the site, so it can now accommodate the 32-metre high development. The $180 million Murray, Morgan and Forsyth Street block will loom above surrounding buildings, and that's troubling some of those who live in them.
Bit extraordinary that it's the only developer in Wagga that seems to need 32 metres to do a redevelopment, say Sydney-style development in a country town.
A total of 224 submissions were received, many for and against. Council says those concerns will be addressed once a development application is lodged.
Traffic, parking, building height, overshadowing, green space and provision of access to the site. All of those will be looked at in the future.
But the residents say they have little faith in their concerns actually being addressed, and this will set a dangerous precedent.
Does that mean there's going to be more buildings built like it up and down Willandria Lagoon?
Wagga Council have made no secret of their desire to grow the city to 100,000. To do that, they say we have a choice: urban sprawl through prime agricultural land or higher density living in the CBD.
Smaller forms of living, more compact, closer to those services and other people is really what we're looking for.
Will Murray, 9 News.